I'm currently dealing with very slow internet. It's not even loading the status of it. Anyway, I'm here to do a little bit of mea culpa today. What does that mean? Well, we need to talk about Apple. Why? I've been wrong on Apple. Wrong. W-R-O-N-G. And basically what I thought is that the stock was very overbought and that it would at least pause. And it actually did that if you look closely. But I wanted to give you the big B, but the B-U-T, not B-U-T-T, B-U-T. Why I still think the reward to risk is very bad. And before we look at the charts, let me give you just a little bit of context. So what tends to happen is when you have a very slow, and this is just my observation over the past 21 years as a trader and investor, when you see something that trickles higher very, very, very slowly, steadily, with almost relentless bid, you, in my opinion, pretty much 10 out of 10 times, you're going to have a situation where you wake up one morning and the equity at some point, or whatever the asset is going to mean revert very sharply in basically a lot of the move that it just had over the past few weeks or months or whatever. And so basically it's like playing a game of musical chairs. And I think, you know, when I talk to our clients on a daily basis, I always talk to them about how the reward to risk for chasing things is just really bad. And so I wanted to just kind of give you guys an update on this Apple trade. Again, I've been wrong. The stock has pushed higher since I've made that call, I don't know, a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago. I can't remember exactly what it was, where I thought the stock was really overbought, and it was overbought, right? But there's some reasons why the stock continued to move higher. Basically, algorithms chasing, you know, Fed increasing its balance sheet and all those kind of things. And it's not to make an excuse, the fact that happened. But let me give you some context here, why I think it's actually still very, very dangerous to chase the stock. So first of all, let's actually go into the market rover to give you some ideas. So if you look at the market rover, it has now been medium-term bullish for 118 days. That may not mean a lot to you guys, but our algorithms track all this stuff in the market rover platinum here and give us some really good idea on when something gets overbought and oversold in 118 days. On the medium term, that's a very long time, and it tends to accelerate to the upside towards the end of that. So we're now up 1.7% on the 16th of December. So I think we're getting really, really close of finally getting that mean reversion move. But let me show you this on the charts. Now, if you look at the short-term charts, you would argue, okay, you know, we had a nice little breakout in consolidation phase, and those people that look at this kind of stuff, indeed, were right. You know, again, I'm not trying to. I want to make sure everyone understands that this did happen. We had a pullback, a bullish reversal, textbook bullish reversal, and a breakout, and that's working very well. The trouble is with this is when you take a step back from it all, and that's why we need to go. I'm even going to pull the camera back as well, and this is where things get really, 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 really dicey. And here is what this looks like in the long term. So you can see what the long-term trajectory has been of this stock. It's basically oscillated back and forth within this channel, which is rather steep. And you can see we not only now broke above this line here, right, but also now this line up here. And you can see, I think it doesn't take a genius to see that the stock is going vertical. From a momentum perspective, we can use a simple MACD moving average convergence divergence oscillator. You can see the stock has never even close come to what it's doing now. So the question you have to ask yourself is it really a good time here? And I would love some feedback, guys. I would love to hear your feedback, whether you agree or disagree, whatever. I just want to hear from you guys. Let us know what you think. Do you agree that this stock is going vertical, or am I just seeing things? Do you think? And again, I'm not talking about for the next 2 days or 3 days. Yes, the stock can always go a little bit higher, but wouldn't you agree on that? So if we now look at this a little bit more closer, I'm going to go into the daily chart. What tends to happen is when you see these vertical moves, you always get a mean reversion move that's rather sharp, right? So for example, look at that slow and steady. I'm just going to go back to the recent history. That slow and steady move we had higher from the lows in December of last year up to the highs here in May. it took just a couple weeks, a few weeks to mean revert what it took the stock much longer, let's say. Even if you just look at it, the first few days, it took literally a few days to correct 10%. And that's, I think, where we're at again this point. So I just want to caution you again. And again, I'm not trying to fear monger or do anything, say anything against Apple. Everything I have is Apple Watches and things and iPhones and whatever. It's not about that. It's about just looking at the reward to risk. And so even if you bought this stock over the past few weeks correctly, and if you did, congratulations, that's been a good trade. The reward to risk of us waking up one morning is so bad now that the reward to risk that if we wake up one morning and the stock just pulls back a little bit, which could be 5 or 10%, you're going to wipe out all those gains that you just basically made over the past month or 2 months. That's what I'm talking about. It's not that you can't buy a stock like this ever on a chart breakout, even when it goes higher. That's for a trade. But I just want you to be aware of the reward to risk. Anyway, the risk of saying the same thing over and over again, which I think I probably just did in the past few sentences. Let us know what you think about this. I hope it's helpful as always. Give us a thumbs up, like if you enjoyed it. Spread the love, and I'll talk to you soon.